Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network. And I can't believe that Sibling Showdown is back for the best ball season. That's right. The 2025 best ball season is here. And we will be talking 2024 results, 2025 big board, and everything 2025 best ball related in just 1 minute. That is right. Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and welcome back to Sibling Showdown. Last year we did Sibling Showdown weekly to do live drafts together, and we are already back because the big board is back. If you don't know me, I'm Meg, and I am joined every week by my brother Steve, and we are going to talk through some of our 2024 stuff. My brother is sick, but Steve, how are you doing other than being sick?
Other than being sick, doing well. Glad to get back into ripping drafts. I've been doing baseball, but football is my, my favorite. So, yeah, it's excited that the big board and all the contests around it are back. And yeah, they underdogs not messing around.
No, they're not messing around because it wasn't just the big board. It's the big board. It's the bigger board. It's the biggest board. It's the war room. It's the little board. We've got it all different price ranges. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you joined us for last, 2024 best ball season. We had a ton of content on fanspeak.com. We had a ton of content here on the FanSpeak Network. If you haven't subscribed to the FanSpeak Network, be sure you do get notified when we go live because now the best ball shows are ramping right back up. But yeah, no, we had a very successful 2024 season. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Before we do, let me say hi to a few folks in chat. Jamie, we always love seeing Jamie. And are we drafting tonight? We are indeed. We're going to talk 2024 very quickly, 2025 plans very quickly, rookie stuff, which you definitely want to listen to Steve, and then we will draft a big board. Andrew says, what's up, fam? Out to you with the family is still turning on because I can't mess out on Steve's $50,000 knowledge. That is right. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I love it to hear it, Andrew. Mike Robb, always good to see Mike Robb. The extra time was worth it. Steve's hair is on point. What about mine? I mean, I got it in the clip and everything. No, I didn't even have time to get my hair done, so I just threw it up in a clip. But I'm glad Steve's hair looks good. That is what is important. But always good to see Jamie as well, or Jamie too. Yeah. So, all right, guys. We thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. So 2024, we have to talk about our 2024. Before we can turn forward, we got to look back really quick. Steve and I had an excellent 2024 draft season with some finals appearances, but we both had a really good advance rate for, now it's been, 2 or 3 consecutive years in a row, over 25%. I had a 25% advance rate on Underdog. Steve was 33% on Underdog and 27% on DraftKings. But it was super exciting because our whole entire family, that means me, Steve, our mom, our dad, all had a finals appearance. I tagged Underdog and said, are we the first full family to make the Underdog finals? That was awesome. My mom made it in the Super Flex, one of the Super Pomeranian Super Flex. My dad made it in, I believe, the Hound Dog. I made it in the Bulldog finals. I was also top 150, in the marathon. Going to be doing more of those this year. And Steve had, hold for it, 16 finals appearances across Underdog and DraftKings. 16, you heard me correctly, 16 finals appearances. And he placed 4th in the big board. He was a very Terry McLaurin big game away from being first, but he placed 4th in the big board for $50,000. So that is exactly what Andrew was talking about there. And so we had to celebrate that. I was going to pop champagne, but Steve's sick. I'm not going to drink alone. So we're still going to celebrate, have party vibes here. But we had to celebrate that. So Steve, do you want to just quickly tell about your big board sweat or your final sweat having 16 teams? Because you kind of have to see what is rising to the top and then really root that on hard Sunday night and Monday night, right?
Yeah. And especially with the protracted, Thursday's game or Wednesday's games, Thursday game, 3 games on Saturday. So going into Sunday, I knew this big board team was live, but I was actually sweating out more my eliminator team and my Greyhound team seemed to be in better position.
Yeah.
But those both tailed off. And this rose to the top and was able to hold through to Monday. Because I did have a Monra Monday night to help protect me.
Right.
But yeah, this was a very fun sweat. At one point, I was third. Had a chance for even higher
Yeah.
if Monterey got a little bit more that night. But no, it was a great sweat. And just to talk about, you know, what you're saying about our advance rate in the show, we figured it out. Of our 18 combined sibling showdowns last year,
Yep.
I believe 9 made the postseason.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So Steve and I had a
50%.
50% draft, a 50% advance rate on our stream drafts together. Which stream drafts, by the way, are not always easy, but we had
Yeah.
a 50% advance rate on our stream drafts last year. So we're looking to run that back. So come in here and draft with us. We'll have some fun. But no, we had a very fun 2024. Let's also shout out that we had an amazing crew joining us. Andrew, Justin, Spread, Tyler was on some. I mean, and Andrew and Spread were doing some weekly winner shows. And created a Best Ball Jeopardy, which was awesome. We did that a few times. Andrew and I hosted not a 24-hour. He's done that before. An 8-hour Best Ball live stream to celebrate in August, kind of towards the end of Best Ball season. Did a lot of unique stuff, and we couldn't have done that without the amazing contractors we brought on and these Best Ball experts that we brought on, and they're going to help us continue to grow our Best Ball content, our Best Ball analysis, and we're very thankful for them. And you're going to be seeing a lot of their faces here on the FanSpeak Network starting tomorrow night. Andrew and Justin have a big board show on Thursday night. Steve, Andrew, and I, and possibly Spread, will be doing a 2024 lessons learned show. So, and then it's just going to go right into a 2025 schedule. So that's why we kind of want to have another 2024 look back before we look ahead, as far as like a 2024 quick lessons learned show on Thursday. So yeah, we have amazing other Best Ball experts joining Steve and I each and every week, and we're very excited for what the 2025 season will bring. With that said, 2025, we've got definitely some exciting things on deck. For the next 6 weeks during this big board season, we will have soon rankings, full Steve's rankings. Soon my rankings will be up as well. Articles, 3 to 4 weekly. And of course, shows here on the FanSpeak Network, probably 3 to 4 weekly at minimum, all the next 6 weeks. And sometime in March, we will have a Best Ball subscription. Can't tell all the details yet, but I can tell you it's going to be very unique, very affordable, and very fun. And we are going to be excited to tell you all about our Best Ball subscription, which will launch sometime in March. There will be, some facelifts to the FanSpeak homepage soon, less ads, and just more stuff targeted at Best Ball. So all that stuff is in the works, and we hope you join us for all that along the way. So yeah, Steve, am I missing anything else on the 2025 plans?
Nope, don't think so.
Okay. And then let's see. Okay. And then all the shows that we have will be essentially now through September 1st. So very, very excited about our Best Ball offerings coming up. But basically everything's gonna be free. Next 6 weeks, we will have a Best Ball subscription starting sometime in March. And then there's still going to be all this, all the shows and stuff here are going to be free. So again, make sure you subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, be sure to, if you're watching on Twitter, we see, we have plenty of viewers. Not sure how many are actually on YouTube. Come over to YouTube, comment and chat. We're going to be doing a drawing here for a bigger board giveaway. Bigger board, $100. We want to celebrate Steve's win, and the $100 giveaway to get you a bigger board entry, or it could get you 10 big board entries, or it could get you a lot of little board entries. However you want to do it, we're giving away $100 here shortly. Next, Steve, we wanted to talk about rookies. So here, I don't know if many people know this about you specifically, but it's kind of fun that your best finals finish was in the big board, because you have scouted rookies for well over a decade. FanSpeak, was one of the first mock draft simulators. On the Clock was one of the first mock draft simulators in 2013. Imitation is a serious form of flattery, still is on the mock draft simulator. And, spoiler alert, if you get the Best Ball subscription before the draft, you'll get our, Ultimate GM version of that, which is very fun. But we've been covering the draft. Steve's been covering the draft for, well over a decade. He covered the Senior Bowl live for 9 years, did some East-West Shrine games covered live, and still just covers rookies, analyzes, ranks rookies. And so that's kind of fun that, that kind of helped you. Lad McConkey was one of the big rookies in your big board team that had a massive week 17. But Steve, tell a little bit about maybe like your passion for scouting rookies, your Senior Bowl experiences, wherever you want to go with that. And then I have a couple specific rookie questions.
Yeah, no, as you said, I've always been big into the draft, following rookies, and kind of then also understanding how they relate, uh, in terms of fantasy production. And look, when we're drafting right now, we don't know where the landing spots are, and landing spots do matter. That is no doubt key, but talent also matters, and readiness also matters, and that's why like we can look at some guys and just see that even if they get a great landing spot, they're not going to have the best outcome, particularly as rookies. Maybe they'll develop down the line, but what they are as rookies, and and then on the flip side, sometimes guys who are maybe just an above average prospect, but if they get the perfect landing spot, they're going to be great. Right, right now for these big boards, we don't know that, but that's something that will definitely be readjusted once we figure out where these landing spots are. But every year we hear about the post-buy rookie bump, and sometimes it happens exactly as that happens. But rookies do matter down the stretch in fantasy, and whether it's when we're drafting this early now or later after the BBM launches, we want to have some rookie exposure. You don't want to go overweight. That can be problematic as well, but you probably want some rookie exposure in your team, and hope that some of these guys are maybe a little undervalued, and even if they're overvalued, they can still pay off.
Right. Do you remember where you got Ladd McConkey last year in your big board?
I don't. I'd have to go back and look, but in the mid rounds,
Yeah.
definitely probably later than he went, considering he went into a spot with the Chargers that he ended up being a clear wide receiver one contender, and was a wide receiver one, obviously. So, he was a good prospect and then hit a perfect landing spot.
But you were definitely higher than, last year was such an amazing rookie receiver class, and you were very much higher than market on Ladd McConkey. So it's kind of very sweet that Ladd McConkey landed in your, finals fourth place team. That's very cool. I know Tyler, who from Fantasy Sanctuary, who we've done shows with, was very high on Ladd McConkey. We had conversations. Who do you think, what rookie might hit the, a finals winning team or a finals high place team? And we both agreed Ladd McConkey. I know you were definitely in on it, and it came to fruition. Before we go, I have a couple other rookie specific questions. Again, put your comments in chat, and before we do the drawing, I'll certainly ask you to put comments in chat to make sure we get you entered into the drawing for the $100 giveaway here soon. I have to say hi to a couple of people. Well, first of all, Mike Rob's hysterical. He said the best ball subscription comes with Bruni's personal number and social. Absolutely. Kidding, Bruni. It does not. Jamie doing 1,000 best ball drafts in off season. So he's like you, Steve. He's drafting a lot of quantity there. How many did you get down last year?
If you count the pre-draft stuff, near 1,000, probably about 900.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was around 1,000. Jamie also said he was invited to the Senior Bowl to scout the rookies this year. Unfortunately, his schedule won't be able to make it. His co-host Steve Hunniger will be there, top 5 IDP ranker. Put your channel in chat, Jamie. Let us know where to find this content. That's awesome. I know Steve loved it. Steve, what was one of your favorite Senior Bowl memories? I mean, you're down on the sideline with Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh. I mean, didn't you pass the coffee to John Harbaugh one time or something like that?
That was very great after they lost in the playoffs also, so didn't want to say anything. But but no, a lot of great experiences down there, meeting, interviewing players. Got to interview so many players, many still in the league. Got to just watch them up close, see them get the coaching feedback from the coaching staffs that are down there. Just it's tough to.
Who was your favorite player that you interviewed, or one of your favorite players you interviewed? I mean, you started your first year was 2012. Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. Yeah. I mean, that's some wild stuff. But you saw a lot of insanely good quarterbacks and players. Aaron Donald, I know you were so excited to see. You called me and you're like, I wish the Redskins could draft him. And of course we didn't have the pick from the RG3 trade. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Who was your favorite player you interviewed?
Donald would probably have to be up there as my favorite player that I interviewed. He was just
awesome. Yeah.
You could just tell he was so motivated. He knew his stuff. He knew he was quote unquote undersized, but he did not play like it. Zach Martin was good. Obviously a great player as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's just a number of guys in terms of like offensive skill guys. I interviewed Debo in
Oh,
a
that's so cool. I
presser.
didn't. Yeah.
That was really cool. He was a fun interview. Uh, and oh boy, there's so many, but
You had Kirk Cousins in a presser too, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Kirk
cool.
Cousins in a presser. Um, I had Josh Allen in a presser, but only got like one question in there.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Yeah. I forgot
but
Allen was there. Herbert was there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, a lot of I mean Jordan Love, Hurts.
We'll have to find a way. Hurt. That's right. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Hurts now in the Super Bowl. We'll have to find a way to share. Our dad would go down to take pictures. So we have to find a way to share some of our amazing pictures. It was just a really cool that you and our dad got to go down for 9 years. Very, very cool experiences that you guys have from all that. And yeah, you learned a lot, but you're still going to be scouting them, and that's super fun. Shout out to Jamie's channel, RPO Fantasy Football Show. I'll have to check that out, Jamie, and everybody should as well. Steve, this one is going to make you laugh. Is Saints to Death going to give you nightmares from?
yep. And Saints of Death. I did my first big board last night. Posted on Twitter. You were in the draft with me.
Nice, yeah.
So it definitely brought
Saints
back
to
that
Death was Steve was in what,
sweat.
third place in that last Gibbs touchdown. Saints to Death jumped him for third
Yeah.
place, and Steve fell to fourth. So Saints to Death. And Steve definitely remembers you. He says Ricky Pearsall for life. I'm guessing Pearsall was on his team that day. Had that massive game that Monday night of week 17. Andrew says, how many rookies do you look to add your team in the big board? Or there are any rounds you prefer to take them, like any sweet spots? I mean, this year's very unique. We're going to get to that. That's one of my next questions about rookie running backs, but go ahead and answer this question
So
first.
yeah, I mean, each year I think depends on what the rookie class is offering. Obviously, a couple years ago, tight ends were prevalent. You had a couple elite running backs like Bijan and Gibbs. This year is going to be kind of similar in that regard. But this year quarterbacks are going to be lesser. Tight ends, there's a couple. Receivers not near as good as last year, but running
Right.
back is much better. So this year, depth wise, I think is pretty strong, and we'll definitely get to that shortly. In terms of particular rounds, look, some of the star names are going to be up there high, but in the big boards and little boards I've done so far, definitely some guys slide. I mean, there's guys who right now, and yes, you're going to need a good landing spot for, but we do 20 rounds, and there's a lot of guys, and we'll get to this as we draft. There's a lot of guys late, both receiver, running back, even some tight ends. We don't know where they're going to be next year. Free agency hasn't happened yet. We don't know if they're going to get replaced. Like a lot of rookie running backs who were drafted last year, the Kamani Vidals, the uh, Trey Bensons, guys like that. If those teams go back to the well, they could get easily replaced
Right.
as the number
Yeah.
two back on those teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know it sounds crazy, but look, it happens every year. And if not number two, even number one. I mean, one of the few running back successes last year was Bucky Irving, and he replaced a young Rashard White.
Yeah.
So, and White's still a viable guy, but point being is, like your spot. A lot of teams that we were like, oh, this is going to be their number one running back spot. I would just give an example. We'll talk about through later, but Najee Harris is a free agent. Steelers likely to move on. People everyone's pointing as Jalen Warren as the next guy there. Maybe, but if the Steelers spend a second, third, fourth round guy, he could easily jump into a much bigger role.
Yeah. Guys, say hi to our guy. Always love King of QC. Always love drafting with you. Remember you in our drafts last year. Great to see you. And he says, what position has the strongest class QB, running back, receiver, tight end? And Saints to Death gave his thought, and I think you would agree with this.
Yeah, I agree with the Saints to death. Running back, wide
Saints.
receiver. Tight end has some top end guys, but then obviously fades very quickly. And then quarterback, there's going to be a couple starters from this class, but probably we're looking at kind of what we typically, unlike this past year, where obviously Jaden Daniels was a fantasy stud, Bo Nix was very good.
Yeah.
Drake May, for the time that he played, was very good, and Caleb Williams was serviceable multiple weeks. In fact, Caleb Williams was on my
Yeah.
big board team as well. So it's probably going to be more like the class before, where CJ Stroud was very good, Bryce Young, Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson, injured and
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sage Smith says, thanks for the shout out. Steve's still having nightmares from the Gibbs touchdown, but we love seeing you in chat. And Jamie, another question, then I have two more questions for you before we do our drawing. Where does Roschon Johnson rookie profile compare to this year's class?
Yeah, and Roschon Johnson's another perfect example of a guy that, a lot of people are high on, especially with Ben Johnson going there. But boy, the Bears take a running back, whether Swift's still there or not. That situation could change dramatically. Roschon Johnson was obviously an interesting rookie profile, good pass catcher, decent size, couldn't get playing time behind Bijan. But he's definitely the type of guy that I'd be scared to be taking too much of right now. Now, look, I'm going to be doing a couple hundred of these pre-drafts, so I might get some Roschon Johnson, but he's not a guy that I'm going to feel confident is going to be even the number 2 in his team this year.
So I think you make a great point about because of how strong the running back class is, guys that we liked as like the number 2 this year might just get pushed out, or look at what happened to Khalil Herbert this year. I mean,
exactly, and just a lot. There's a lot of these guys out there, the Roschon Johnsons, the Kendre Millers. I think everyone's penciling in these guys as number two backs, but it just doesn't necessarily happen. And I do think this is a deeper running back class we've seen in quite some time. 2 years ago had the studs up top, Bijan and Gibbs, but it thinned out kind of a bit after that. This year has the studs up top and the depth. Kind of reminds me of, I think it was I want to say the 17 class. Was that the Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey class?
Okay.
Also had like Kamara, whatever class Kamara was, because you had Kamara, Connor.
Oh, wow. They were all the same year.
Yeah. Just super strong class. A couple other guys that are, I'm thinking of 18, but one of those 2 years, just super, super deep. Even it was the same class that had Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams very late in the draft, like fifth, sixth rounds, 2000,
17, yeah.
Just super, and that's what it reminds me of. We're going to have some first rounders. Fournette, kind of a bust, but obviously had some good years. McCaffrey, stud.
Yeah.
But after that, you were just hitting some good second and third starters right off the bat. I mean, Kamar and Connor, we knew from the jump. Well, Connor not so much, but we just knew a number of these guys from the jump. Aaron Jones, I think, was in that. Just really, really strong class.
Well, you kind of answered my question. Kind of compare this class to another, because I wanted you to elaborate on how strong this running back class is. Because I know you tweeted you drafted like 4 rookie running backs in your first big board run. Some of it was like, oh my gosh, you were like, I drafted this many, but you loved them all. You loved all the prospects. And so throughout, again, we are going to be doing rookie series before the draft at each position and after the draft based on landing spots, and that'll help bring context to things as you do your big board drafts. And then of course, as we get it into full swing, BBM / the classic contest and all the other amazing contests that Underdog and all these sites offer, we'll have it before and after the draft, and Steve will break down the rookies, because that has been helpful, incredibly helpful for me. He got me on Lad McConkey, who was on my top 150 marathon team. I don't believe he's on my other team, but he got me on definitely some rookies that were some key things, and has in other years.
On your other team.
What's that?
Wasn't BTJ?
Oh yeah, that's right. He got me on Brian Thomas Jr. I know Andrew on our team was very high on Brian Thomas Jr. But yeah, initially I know you were very high on Brian Thomas Jr. Got me on that. He was on my Bulldog team that I finished 5th in. So my finals team was the Bulldog, and I finished 5th. And thanks to BTJ, had an insanely strong season, and especially end of the season and best ball playoffs. So yeah, no, definitely listen. I'm basically telling you, don't listen to me as much these next few months. Listen to Steve on these both the rookie shows and during drafts. You'll get a lot of good nuggets from him, which takes me to the next question. So we covered the running backs and how strong it is, and why you might load up here, even in big board drafts, on running backs, because they might take some other people's jobs, and why you might be wary of some like number 2, 3 backs, from this last year. Now let's talk about receiver really quick. This isn't as nearly as strong a class as last year's receiver class was, although there's still going to be, I'm sure, a lot of good rookie receivers. What would you compare this receiver class to? And then I have a specific receiver question.
I mean, still pretty good. I would probably compare it to a couple of years ago. I mean, this would be the ultimate, would be if it's like 2019, where the first round wasn't strong, though. I actually think the first round could be a little better, but just really deep in the second and third round. That was like the AJ Brown, Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson.
So we got a lot of good starters still out of
Yeah, a
that.
lot
Yeah.
of really good starters from that year. This year there will be more first rounders. There's only 2 first rounders that year, I believe N'Keal Harry and Marquise Brown. And Harry was total bust. Brown good, but not great.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Jamie says, hit that like button. Absolutely, hit that like button. We're going to be doing a drawing here in the next probably 5-10 minutes. And Steve Shoup knows his shit. He's taking notes. I love it. Love to hear that, Jamie. Quick question he has: Benson or Henderson?
Uh, is this Cedric Benson or
Yes, Trey Benson.
Trayvon Henderson? Henderson.
Okay.
I think you take like the first 5-6 backs from this year's class, and only Brooks last year would have been comparable to them.
Oh, wow.
And he had the ACL injury. I just don't think any other back from last year's class was playing at this, had this upside and true talent
Well, and
from the first 5 or 6 guys.
you made a great point about like contextualizing the receiver class, and it kind of reminds you more of the 19 receiver class. That's good, just to kind of like, because not every rookie class for each position is created equal. We saw it like the quarterbacks last year, just absolutely insane. So this is a fun fact. So Steve has kept me off certain receivers the last 2 years. We started doing best ball probably 3 years ago, and he said I'd stay away from Treylon Burks. Turned out to be a bust. And then next year, I'd stay away from Quentin Johnson. Obviously, Quentin Johnson was fine this year, but his rookie year, he's terrible. Turned out terrible rookie year. Last year, I'd stay away from Xavier Legette. He was fine, but definitely not great. I mean, Coker.
Not worth where he was getting drafted.
No, not where he was getting drafted, basically. These were guys that you identified as they're probably going to be drafted in the first round in the NFL draft, maybe the second round in the NFL draft, but they're a very raw prospect. And maybe, we saw Quentin Johnson pop. I mean, he'd either catch 0 passes or 150 yards. He was kind of inconsistent, but some of these guys could develop, but raw for a first year in the NFL. You've identified that. Do you have one receiver that you would say that would go in the first or second round this year, probably like late first, early second, that people are going to draft probably in the 120s to 150s, but you're like, kind of like those last 3 receivers I mentioned? And while you do that answer, think about that question. I'll answer Mike Rob's question. When Fanspeak Discord, Andrew said he would love to be the moderator because I quote, Meg has a mean right. Okay, I'm not telling her no. That's hysterical. No, I did not say that, but that's hilarious. Fanspeak Discord is coming. It's coming with the Best Ball subscription, which will be sometime in March. So 6 weeks, give or take. But the Fanspeak Discord will be here, and we can't wait to answer all your guys' best ball questions. All right. Do you have an answer to that question, Steve?
So I'd probably point to 2 guys, though. To be fair, I do want to look at them both a little bit more. Right now they're just a little too high for me in ADP. That's Alec Iamaner from Stanford. Right now his ADP looks to be 131.8. He's an underclassman, didn't have great quarterback play at Stanford, didn't face a lot of top defenses. Definitely upside, a lot of upside there. I like it from an upside perspective. If he could test very well, has good size, and I could see him just getting pushed up the board too much. And this is similar to Donnie Mitchell last year. Donnie Mitchell was another guy who, where he landed, I was not thrilled with. He was the most raw of the higher draft picks, and I was lower on him for that regard as well, not as low as I was on Legette. And he just, he had like maybe one good fantasy game all year. And that's with Downs, Pittman, Pierce all missing some time. And then the other guy I would point to is Savion Williams. I really like Savion Williams. He's a do everything player. Someone could comp him to like a Debo or Cordell Patterson, something like that. Incredible athlete, absolute incredible freak athlete, but kind of raw also. Now, in the right system, if I see like Mike McDaniel grab him or Kyle Shanahan, I don't think Kyle Shanahan's going receiver, but if I see somebody like that get him, I could get excited about him again. I want to see how he does it. I believe he's going to be at Senior Bowl. I want to see how he does testing, of course. But right now at 152.2, I have some worries just because he's a little raw overall. Could take a little bit of time. Maybe in the right system, I still end up being in on him. And also kind of depends on where his ADP is. if like Leggett last year was going in the 17th round, I would have taken more Leggett.
Sure. It's
Um,
everything in best ball is price sensitive. So
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And that was the thing with Burks and Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson was
Yep.
going like 9th round, 10th round, Burks 7th round. And it's just like these guys are some of the most raw prospects there are. I just don't like them at that price.
Yeah, and speaking of price, Jamie says I wasn't taking 80, wasn't feeling 80 Mitchell either, taking a ton of Roman Wilson. Look how that turned out. At least with Roman Wilson by the end, it was very, very late. But I made that same mistake, Jamie. So you're not alone. I was right there with you. I had a ton of Roman Wilson. I thought he was going to slide right into that Deontay Johnson role for the Steelers. He did not. I mean, it was so crazy that he just really never got back from that injury. We'll be interested to see what he does in his sophomore season. Okay, Steve, and while you're going through this, I'm going to work on putting names in our wheel to spin for the giveaway, but I'm going to ask you a specific question. If you haven't jumped in chat yet, just say hi, just say your favorite rookie, do anything, and I'll put your name in, and we will be spinning the next 5 minutes. My next question to you is, don't care about quarterbacks because there's just like, 2 or 3 that are best ball draftable. Don't care about tight ends because it's really Tyler Warren and just a handful of others. But running back and receiver, there are lots of rookies to consider. So give me your favorite first running back and again, I'll reiterate it again, amazing rookie running back class. Give me your favorite running back early. I think I know who it's going to be. Middle rounds and late.
Okay.
And I'll work on the names.
Early for running back, it has to be Ashton Genty. I mean, there's a reason this guy was in the Heisman consideration. Just absolute incredible year at Boise State. And there's so many games he just stopped playing in the third quarter because they were up so big, and he had 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. He gets some comps to like the Alvin Kamara type. He is incredibly gifted. I definitely think he's worth top 2 round draft capital. Middle, I'm going to go another guy who was in the Heisman contention. That's Cam Skattebo.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you were sending me highlights.
His ADP is like 131. He's big. He's physical. He's so tough to bring down. At the same time, he's a really good pass catcher out of the backfield. He's got pretty good hands. Can make some moves. He's not going to test the fastest. I'll be interested to see where he weighs in, how he does in the circuit, All-Star game and combine. But I think he is, like this last year's where he really bloomed and blossomed. But boy, you watch the way he runs violently, but at the same time, just great contact balance. Like he can absorb contact, and the great runners we see do this. I mean, the Derrick Henrys, the Saquon Barkley first play of the game, 2 Washington defenders hit him 15 yards down the field. He bounces right through him. Doesn't mean anything. That's the type of contact balance Cam Skattebo brings to the table. Maybe doesn't have the Saquon upside, obviously. I don't think he should go number 2 overall. And then for the late back, I'll give a guy I have not. Yeah, I'll give a guy I haven't drafted yet, but I really like. And I'm not sure exactly how high he'll go in the draft, but he could be very role specific, and that's RJ Harvey, UCF. Can catch the ball really well, extremely explosive. Like, we're talking, he'll probably test incredibly well. Just absolute home run hitter of a back. He's probably not going to be an every down back. He's not going to be a guy who he'll probably play passing downs because of his explosivity, but he's not going to be in between tackles. So he's never will likely have a big touchdown role. But he's a guy I probably won't mind taking some 19th, 20th round shots on in the right landing spot. The right creative coach. I, again, don't think Miami's going for another explosive back, but look what they like to do with explosive backs. If another team starts to do that, what we've seen with the chain and right last year, Harvey's the type of guy who could fit part of that role. So for a guy you're right now probably getting in the 20th round, I'll take some shots on RJ Harvey. And exactly the type of guy who we saw this with Tyrone Tracy last year, another rookie running back who actually had some value. Smaller guy, had a was a receiver in college, so was a better, clearer look as more of a passing role. But there was value there because he could bring something more unique to the table. Harvey could be that kind of guy that we can get right now in the 20th round.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was good. You covered the 3 point, and I didn't know about Harvey. I knew about the other two, obviously, but I did not know about Harvey. And a lot of the guys in chat mentioned, we were mentioning different names, so that was fun to see.
I like Sampson. Yeah.
Ollie Gordon, and then they were talking about Harvey Sampson more as well. So always good to see ASAP Tuna. Love interacting with you on Twitter. So thanks, Stephen May, for all the rookie content. Definitely want something I want to focus on more next year. Steve, you got to mute that microphone next time. Just kidding. Anyways, okay, I'm going to ask him the same question about receivers, and then we're going to spin the wheel. So if you haven't jumped in chat yet, again, if you're watching on Twitter, come over to the YouTube channel. Just say hi, say your favorite rookie. We'll put your name in the wheel we're spinning for a $100 giveaway to do 10 big boards, a bigger board, whatever you want. But we appreciate you joining us, and hopefully you are subscribed to the FanSpeak Network. Steve, same question for receivers: early, mid, late. You already kind of gave the guys you're kind of maybe staying away from unless they were super, super late, but early, mid, late, who are you liking rookie receivers?
Yeah. Early, and he's likely the earliest rookie taken. So I'll just go with Ted McMillan from Arizona. Big physical receiver, fast. Have a lot of Mike Evans vibes there. He looks like a legit 6'5". Really big fan. I think he hits the ground running. Pretty much no matter where he goes. Mid, a lot of options in this mid range. I will point to my favorite. He's at 101.7. Trey Harris, Ole Miss. Had a weird year. He got banged up at the end, didn't really play, but so dominant early. Came off a good junior year the year before. I just really, really liked him. Good size. Unfortunately, Ole Miss, and we saw this with Jonathan Mingo, and honestly, same sort of thing with DK Metcalf, AJ Brown. Not the greatest system to come to the NFL from, but they also produce some NFL talent like AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. So I am a Trey Harris fan. If he stays around this ADP, he's a guy I will pick. I think he'll be like a second, third rounder. Later, gonna look. Probably go.
It doesn't have to be super late, but
yeah, I'll go in the 150s. After I'll give two. One, Travis Hunter. He's going to be a first round receiver. Yeah. He's going to be a first round pick. But who knows if he's going to be an actual full-time receiver. Some teams maybe. So you could get absolute stud value there if he ends up being a full-time receiver. If he's just kind of a part-time player, he probably should be in this range. The other I'll go is Jaden Higgins, Iowa State. Another good size. I think, to me, it looks like he can play right away. Iowa State was a good program. It has been a good program these past couple of years. I think probably a late third, early fourth round receiver, maybe more like mid fourth round. But if he goes to a team, he could be a number 2 or number 3 early on as a rookie. I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, we got Reynolds in chat. I just added you because I'm spinning the wheel in a minute here. Anybody else? That was last chance. Was this the prospect, Steve, that you said you were a little wary on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one you were a little bit raw. But we got Reynolds. He said Judikins. That's the running back from Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
I'm learning. I am massively learning the right because I am not really a college football girl. It's NFL 365. I learn all this stuff from Steve. And yeah, Jaden Higgins was the one you were just talking about, right, Steve?
Big fan of Higgins.
You were just talking about Travis Hunter. That would not count. No. Yeah, that's would count for defense like in regular fantasy. So yeah, Hunter wide receiver, if he's going late, I think is interesting. It would be interesting to see what team takes him, how they use him. And I love Mike Rob's comment. Big props to Steve out here dying but pushing out the content. That's right. Just got to power through. No excuses. All right, I think I got everybody. We appreciate you being in here. $100 giveaway. We're spinning the wheel right now. Again, be sure to keep tuning in to all of our best ball content. It's now through September 1st. Tons of content here, tons of content on fanspeak.com. Fanspeak.com's getting a makeover, and Fanspeak is bringing you a best ball subscription starting here in March, and we can't wait to bring it to you guys. So let's do a giveaway for $100. Put it to our bigger board, put it to a big 10 big boards, whatever you want. I think I got everybody in. Oh, let me add one more. And let's see if this guy got in under the wire here. And we are spinning the wheel. Let me see now. This is for $100 giveaway. You can message me on Twitter and I will send the winner. Oh my gosh, it was the guy who did.
Yeah, you just made a good comment.
So DQ says Hunter wide receiver is the move. Excellent timing, DQ. You got in. You said Hunter is the move, and you win $100 giveaway. You can message me on Twitter, Megs08DFS, and just send me a message on Twitter, and I'll get your email to PayPal you $100. Got to have the PayPal. That is hysterical. I was making sure I got everybody, but we appreciate everybody being in here. You know, we got Jamie, we got Eric, Mike Robb, Saints to Death, King of QC, ASP Tuna, Reddles, DQ. Loved having all of you and chatting about rookies. And now it's time to talk about our first big board draft for the season. Steve, can we run back the 50% advance rate? If you want to join us, we're going to be bringing that over here in 1 minute. But any big board landscape thoughts you have in your first initial drafts. Oh, and we got to say hi to our guy, Tyler. Tyler's just talking about you. When Steve was talking about his big board, 4th place team had Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey was one of his favorite rookies who had ranked high. And I know you love Ladd McConkey too. You and I talked about him, being on a winning best ball team this year. So always good to see Tyler. Check out all his content on Fantasy Sanctuary. I know they just did a show. I just got off a show. So always good to see Tyler. Steve, any 2025 landscape as I bring over the big board here?
Yeah. We talked about some in terms of like the running backs, especially like don't trust necessarily who you think is going to be the backfields for some of these teams. So, but honestly, that's true for a lot of positions. Like, bottom of the quarterback market, we have no idea. Like we can guess, where some of these guys are going to be starting, or if they're starting the Derek Carrs, the Kirk Cousins, the Russell Wilsons, Justin Fields. They might be starting, they might not. I'm going
to interrupt you. I'm going to hit enter. If anybody wants to enter, I'm going to hit enter because it could take a couple minutes to fill. So if you want to enter, I'm hitting enter right now. Oh, the location thing. I mean, we're right back. We are so back to the 2025 the best balls live drafts. Let's see. Did it enter me? It says fetching your draft. Let's see. I do not have any active drafts. I may have to enter on my phone. We'll try one more time. Big board. I mean, we were so right back. Didn't miss a beat. We were in, and we were waiting for 7 people. It does take a little bit longer now that we are, not even in February yet, but waiting for 6. If you want to join us, jump in. Steve, go ahead, finish your thought. Yeah, Jamie, it is the big board, the $10 big board. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So yeah, like quarterback's a great example. When we had 20 rounds, I mean, we're big fans of 3 quarterbacks, even in 18-round drafts, definitely in these 20 rounds, because we also don't know where buys are going to be yet.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So I definitely prioritize certainty, but especially early on. And I think it's good to have a good certain core, at least one quarterback we feel real confident in his role, and 1 or 2 pieces around him. A couple running backs we know pretty likely to good solid starting roles. Same with receivers. Because things change, whether it's young guys coming in, rookies coming in. Like for instance, last year at this time, I was taking Trey Palmer, and some with the Buccaneers. I didn't think they'd necessarily be taking a receiver like McMillan. They ended up taking McMillan. He's a much better receiver. So it's stuff like that where, and Trey Palmer was a late round pick, so it wasn't killing you. But my point is, certainty is key right now, because that's one of the advantages we are going to have over our opponent. Not that we're going to take them, but there's guys like Travis Kelce. If they win the Super Bowl, he could be retiring. And Zach Ertz, if he's back in Washington next year, great. if he could retire, he could, go to another team.
Let me just interrupt you really quick. He said, why am I not seeing big board? It should be, if you go to drafts and NFL, you should be able to find the big board. If you, on the homepage, if you click NFL, it's the first one. So just wanted to mention that. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, so it looks like we got the 1-1.
Oh, all right. Let's go.
Definitely
all
some
right.
guys in here. Yep.
All right. Okay, let's see who we got. Yeah, we got, okay, so we're at the 1 spot. Saints to Death, 2. King of QC, 3. Let's see here. Let me go to, I don't think I need to stretch out adjust the size of the screen here. Getting back into the best ball streaming life here. Getting, okay. Humble Legend. Yeah, I don't think I recognize anything, but 1, 2, 3. Us, Saints to Death, King of QC. If you are in here, Jamie, are you in here? Let us know. Okay, wait, let me go to, so you find Barkley or Chase? Where are you going?
Let's do Barkley, and this is one of the things is in terms of certainty. Running back is a position, like I said, that certainty can be lessened later. And why I don't mind taking shots at rookies, if they don't get the right landing spot, it's they just don't end up with the high upside.
Okay, so Jamie's Biggie James 777. We missed on this one. He'll try next time. We are here every week. Andrew and Justin will be in the streets tomorrow night at 9:30, and we will have several live drafts every single week. So we love seeing you in chat, and you'll have to jump in our next one. So yeah, I mean, I kind of have Saquon still number 1 here. If a tiebreaker for me is just, I lean heavily on the running back, wanting to hit 3 running back scores. It doesn't mean it's I think whether you do anchor running back, double anchor, 0 RB, whatever strategy you want to do is fine. But I just think one thing I've learned from you, some content creators like Sam Sherman, is just prioritizing the running back on a half-point PPR site like Underdog and Touchdown Hunting. Yes, this was an awesome year for running back, and I think we were successful because we were so high on running back and did a lot of double anchor because of the prices. Obviously, there's going to be more running backs that go earlier this year. But the point is, I think you and I like to build with the thought in mind that we're playing 3 receivers and 3 running backs, and running back hitting the flex. Now, it doesn't mean every week it's going to play out like this. My Bulldog team, Zach Ertz had a massive week 17, outscored Josh Jacobs, who I thought was going to be my flex. So, it's not like it has to be that, but I think we like to build for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And, you just look at it. And I do think Chase is very much in the 1-1 mix because he also was a difference maker versus receivers last year. There's a big point gap. But yeah, you look at it, and if you look at the number of, whether your metric is points per game or total points, you look at the number of running backs that had 15 or more points per game versus receivers, and it's night and day difference. I believe Neighbors and was it Evans tied for like a wide receiver 3 or 4 in terms of points per game, and that was running back like 9 or 10. So it just shows you for a position, there should be more receivers on the field in every single NFL play. So yeah, like we would expect receivers to outscore running backs if all things are equal, but touchdowns are favoring the running backs.
Right. And that's why you're saying, but running backs, and I know Josh Norris and Hayden Winks on Underdog Network have mentioned this, like the number of running back scores over a certain amount, whatever threshold it is, it was, many, many more running backs. And I think last year was an outlier year of less running backs. And then the running backs that did, like Kyron Williams, were coming later, like Devon Chain were coming later. So, a year later, 2 years later, I still can't say his name right. He just went 10th overall. Achan, I can never get that guy's name right. Real quick before we come back up, it did go us with Saquon, Chase, absolutely. 1-2, can't go wrong there. Went Puka at 3 to our guy, King of QC. Bijan at 4, Gibbs at 5, Jefferson, Lamb, BTJ, Collins, Hey Chan, I can't do it. Malik Neighbors, ASB, Lad McConkey around the corner, and McCaffrey. I know that's been a talking point already. I've seen him go first or second, late first or early second round. So we are coming back up, at the turn, obviously 24-25. We took Saquon. So at the top of the board, we still have, and our guys coming up at QC and Saints to Death are go before us, but we still have Josh Allen, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson, Bucky Irving, Trey McBride, Joe Mixon at the top of the board. Thoughts?
Yeah, no. And this is another thing I especially like you were talking about the quarterback certainty issue. I don't mind taking an elite quarterback here. Obviously, elite quarterback can always be in play. But especially here, these are the guys we are certain about,
Okay, Allen just went, so Lamar's there. Okay, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving. I'm not super keen at taking a tight end this high.
Yeah.
It's just everybody has their own styles. I'm not saying it doesn't work or won't work, and I know Trey McBride's awesome. We're on the clock. We have 2 picks to make. Lamar is there, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, Joe Mixon, James Cook, T. Higgins. So
I
where
would
do you want to go?
Lamar and Jacobs.
Okay, you want to do Lamar Jacobs to kind of have that double anchor and an elite quarterback. So I'm fine with that.
Also an elite quarterback that we can stack later with either Andrews, likely Bateman.
Okay,
so obviously, but
okay, so and our guys in chat. So Saints to Death started Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, JSN, King of QC, Puka, AJ Brown, and he is on the clock now with his 3rd pick. Always fun to draft with people in chat, and then look at their teams after. And be sure to also, we will have it up, get more details later. But if you are interested, I haven't kind of gotten it situated for this year, but we use Best Ball Overlay, bestballoverlay.com, use code FANSPEAK and get as a discount code. I'll have more details on that soon, and I will be implementing it for, this year, but it certainly helped me because I was really into the double anchor strategy last year. And I wanted to make sure I got all the different combos of those first, because I was kind of considering of the first 5 rounds because we were still getting those bell cow running backs in the, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. So I was trying to get all those different combos. Henry Saquon was one of my favorite. I ended up doing a hyper fragile with Henry Saquon, or I should say Saquon, Henry, Josh Jacobs, and then did in an 18-round draft, did a hyper fragile. So I did a 3-4-8-3. And it worked out awesome for me. And I hit on a lot of the later mid to late running backs, Brian Thomas Jr. being one of them. So, you can make any strategy work, but Best Ball Overlay, kind of whatever strategy you're using, you can kind of then make sure your combos, you're getting the different combos. So I was literally tracking all the different combos I had of those running backs and the running back combos. So Best Ball Overlay, there's all sorts of features that can help you in so many different ways, but I definitely love it. And we will get that implemented here soon. So we went Lamar Jacobs around the turn. So we started 1-2 to start out. And then went JSN, Bucky Irving was King of QC's 3rd pick, T. Higgins, Breece Hall, Trey McBride, DJ Moore, James Cook, Joe Mixon, good old Terry McLaurin, our favorite player, and Chuba Hubbard coming around the 3-4 turn. Any surprises you're seeing so far, Steve? I mean, I'm not really surprised. I mean, we took one of them that elite quarterbacks are kind of going essentially around earlier this year.
Yeah, no. I mean, the one kind of surprise is I am a little surprised, honestly. It's just what we watched yesterday, but James Cook, I actually think he's making a great case to go a little higher. I would definitely take him above Breece Hall. It's just such an elite offense and kind of similar to like Saquon Hurts, like you're 2 guys who
soak up all that touchdown equity.
Yeah, these elite offenses and elite back. So I think Cook, he'll be interesting to see how high he ends up going through this process.
Okay. catch up in chat. Let me know when we're coming up. Jamie says, I sent Andrew a free Jaden Daniels jersey, sending Bruni a jersey. You've been amazing all year with the prop party. I want to send you an NFL jersey of your choice, any player. Oh my God, that is too nice. Terry McLaurin is my favorite player, but that is so sweet, Jamie, and it's so kind. That is so awesome. Sending that. You've been so a loyal watcher of all of our shows, and we appreciate you. You don't need to send me anything. We appreciate you. Just keep coming and hanging out with us. But Mike Robb says, I know Philly's in the Super Bowl, but I feel like it's just a matter of time that we have AJ Brown throwing books at Hurts after another installed drive. Hysterical. Bruni, what did I miss? Oh, our guy Bruni. We were just talking about you and Andrew got your first show tomorrow. Thursday, we're all going to be on talking about our 2024 lessons learned. Thank Bruni for the graphic of Steve. We joked around that Steve's he's got like a brain, just a beautiful mind brain. He's got like a Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, like is it eidetic memory? What is that?
Eidetic,
yeah, eidetic memory. Can't even say it correctly. And so we joke around. He's like the Rain Man of best ball of NFL. If you watch his show with Jeopardy show, he fortunately for crushed spread. So we joked around. He was like Alan in Hangover, so that's why the Hangover graphic. So shout out to Bernie on that. But yeah, we talked a lot of rookie talk, and we are coming up. Okay, so we're coming up with 2 picks. Ken QC took Hurts. Saints to death on the clock. We are on the clock now. So went Hurts, Burrow at the top of the board. Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Patrick Mahomes, Judy Addison. Ooh, I don't love this. Your one rookie here. I know you like. I don't know if you feel like it's too early or not.
No, I was going to say let's
12
take
seconds.
McMillan.
Okay.
And I think Jordan Addison. I know people will say, "Oh, Zay Flowers is there." The thing with Zay Flowers,
we're around it. We're now in the 5th, but I mean,
he just doesn't have big touchdown upside, and I know it's a stack, and this is the time I probably will typically be taking him is when I have Lamar
right
ahead of him. But he's just not a guy who I think is going to rack up a ton of touchdowns any year. We saw in terms of
he was one of your and I's biggest fades last year, and it's not like he didn't have some fine games. It's just his touchdown equity is so low with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
If he was 2, even 3 rounds later, sure, I'd be all in. But Lamar tied for the second most touchdowns of the year, and Flowers had 4 or 5, well behind Andrews, likely Bateman. In terms of receiving touchdowns, I think Justice Hill might have had as many receiving touchdowns, and of course, Derrick Henry's gained all the rushing touchdowns with Lamar. So it's hard for me. I don't see a massive upside.
Justin asked, we did a ton of rookie talk. Justin, I can't pronounce it. Restrepo. What was your thoughts on Restrepo?
We didn't talk about him, but I do like him. I like him roughly where he's going right now. I do think the landing spot matters. He's probably a slot guy. So he goes in the offense where he can kind of fit in. I think Jaden Reed may not that high upside, but I do like him a lot, and I'll be interested to see where he lands for sure.
Okay. Where are you on Rashee Rice? King QC took Rashee Rice. I've seen a lot of people talk about Rice on Twitter, obviously coming off the injury. We know how awesome he was playing before the injury, potential suspension. Obviously, we just have no idea what the suspension, right? I mean, are they thinking it would be likely it will happen this year? What would it be, around 6 games? Do we have any idea?
I don't think we have a great idea. I would imagine 6 games is kind of the range, 4 to 6 games.
Okay.
Also coming off an injury, and maybe he got a little Wally pipped by Xavier Worthy, where he kind of Worthy is now the guy, and look, some of it's going to depend. Does Kelsey come back for another year? If not, I'm going to like Rice more because obviously that's just a massive. Noah Gray and Wiley are not getting that many targets, so that would help. I don't think they're bringing Hopkins back. Maybe they bring back Marquise Brown. If they do that or another equivalent receiver, then that changes Rice's outlook. So there's just a lot of unknown for Rice, in my opinion. But hey, it's an upside play. at some point, we know the Chiefs have it in them to get back to a major passing offense, especially if their running game is stagnant like it kind of was this year.
This year, yeah. Yeah, it's sad, seeing Pacheco. I know we talked Pacheco on Prop Party, and, it's just sad, like, coming off that fibula injury. We saw guys like Mark Andrews, Tony Pollard not be able to get back to, like, what they were right away, and so it'll be interesting to see Pacheco because he was definitely fun to watch before his injury too.
Yeah.
And like you said, that offense wasn't as fun this year, and the running game certainly wasn't. So yeah, Rice is something I need to consider, and probably at the right price. I mean, probably in this 5th round range, because I know people are taking him higher. I think at 5th round, that's good value to take a shot.
Yeah, and 5th round, I think is a good value. And for an instance, like we're just comparing with Zay Flowers, who went one pick after. I like Rice over Zay Flowers. Just
right.
So yeah, a slight concern, but other than that, I like Rice over Zay Flowers. I think he'll get more catches, touchdowns, yards than Zay Flowers just about every year that they play the same number of games.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are coming around. We'll be up at the 6-7 turn. Mahomes went there in the 6th round. We see a couple rookie running backs go. Saints to death. Amari and Hampton. I know that's a big. I don't know if you want to talk about him. I really got to work on my pronunciation on these names. Now that we're back in the best ball streets, I got to lock it up. I got to tighten it up here. Quinshawn Jenkins. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Quinshawn Jenkins. I know you like both of them, right? Junkins.
Yeah.
Junkins. Okay. I know you like both Junkins and Hampton, right?
Yeah, no, both probably 2nd round guys, NFL draft guys. Hampton from UNC, Junkins from Ole Miss, and then Ohio State this past year, excuse me. And I don't see why they shouldn't be competing for starting roles day one. They're extremely talented.
Okay, so what do you want to do here? We're up into, we got our guys on the Pacheco go, and it should be much better next year. And then Henderson goes, who you talked about earlier. We're on the clock. Yeah. I like Ridley and Buka. We got, I'm not
touching down slightly.
Yeah.
I don't mind Connor from more running back certainty with one of these 2 picks.
Okay, well, you want to do one receiver, one running back? I assume pass on Hawkinson. Do you want to take Ridley?
Yeah, take Ridley.
Okay. And then it's I don't think we need to go Hawkinson here.
Go tight end here.
Yeah. So Buka from Ohio State or James Conner, I'll let you pick.
I'm gonna go Conner just from a running back certainty standpoint.
It's showing my percentages from last year because I still have the best ball overlay extension. And so it's showing my percentage. I was like, wait, 17% Connor. And that's kind of how we talked about that, whatever strategy we did go double anchor, but whatever strategy you do, we just like to prioritize getting some certainty at running back to kind of build for the running back hitting the flex. So we started 1-3-3 and, definitely fine with that. And Buka went next to Saints to death, and KQC is back on the clock. So yeah, I like the 1-3-3 start there. And yeah, so just checking anything else on the board. I just mentioned that we saw, and some to our guys, Saints to death got Hampton and Trayvon Henderson. I know you like both of them. Mm-hmm. And then Junkins and Caleb Johnson went. So a lot of rookie running backs in this range.
Yeah, no, a lot of rookies in general. Since that guy Buka, also Luther Burden.
Yeah,
a lot of talent in this group.
Yeah,
I think these are instant starters.
What are just talking points as we're waiting to come back up? What's your thoughts on Burden and Mbuka?
Burden is, I don't want to say undersized, but he's going to be sub 6 foot, kind of smooth. I mean, the upside of that type is obviously Malik Neighbors. DJ Moore's probably a better comp. Mbuka is really, he's probably one of the smartest receivers. He's been the guy at Ohio State, but never the guy. Mm-hmm. He's been behind Marvin Harrison for 2 years previously, and then Jeremiah Smith this past year, the true freshman who was just an absolute stud. But he's extremely talented. Should be a mid to late first rounder. Honestly, Ohio State comp reminds me some of Terry McLaurin. Can just do everything. He can block. He's a good route runner. He can get vertical. Not the biggest, but he does whatever you ask of him. And I think a lot of, he's the type of guy who, for I mean, McLaurin has become a true number one, but
Hmm.
he's probably a number two receiver, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of great number two receivers in this league.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so getting him in here, like that was our decision, Connor or Imbuka. And I just thought I wanted a little bit more certainty at running back.
Yeah, Jamie said a lot of rookies being pushed up without the landing spots. Great time to take advantage of the veterans. I think
Yeah.
it's situational dependent. What
Yeah. And we'll
what do you
talk about some as we get to some veterans, but I do agree. I mean, there's, like, and uh, we haven't seen it too much in where we are in the draft right now, but, and some of this is, and for instance, in this round, we see two San Francisco receivers. I love the 49ers. I think we all do. We just don't know what this receiver core is going to be because
right?
Jennings, Pearsall looked great at the end,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Obviously, Debo, who was banged up, but he had some good games early on. A couple, one
He
week
did look
16 was a
slower
good
late.
game.
I mean, always feels like it's like you had to hold your breath every game with him because it always feels like he's going over to the
But
sideline.
that's also where the money is in Debo and Ayuk coming off the injury. Ayuk's injury
Yeah,
was early, so he should
yeah.
theoretically be back.
I was gonna say, any chance you think they'll like do and move on from Debo with these receivers
the
emerging
the
since they're
reports that I've seen so far is Debo's still going to be a 49er. Now, can
okay,
things change? Absolutely, but
right?
um, yeah, it's an interesting situation. Kind of like the Packers last year at four receivers, but all these guys are kind of a little better than the Packers guys. So,
Right.
um, yeah,
Okay. I was just seeing what so we have Vikings, Tennessee. That's not real. I was just trying to pre-think of like potential stacks to consider. Don't have any receivers yet with a rookie.
yeah,
Jordan Addison, don't know the Vikings quarterback situation, and Tennessee don't know the Tennessee Titans quarterback situation. So
yeah.
nothing we can really queue up there because that's something I like to do as are drafting pass catchers. I mean, it's funny. It's like if we're not drafting in for like 4 months, I know we do battle royales and some playoff best ball, but obviously most of my volume is spring and summer. So you do have to get back into that mindset these first few drafts. Get the your sea legs. Bo Nix in the 8th round. I don't hate that. I mean, I it definitely is a little higher than his ADP, I think, but I think he
Right.
showed.
Paired him with Sutton, so
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't. I like that. I mean, he showed a lot of rushing ability too. To help that
well,
floor.
and it's like what we talked about. Look, there's only a about 18, 19 quarterbacks where we have certainty of where they're going to be
Yeah.
playing next year.
Right.
We know
Right.
others are going to start. Like Darnold's going to start somewhere. Cam Ward's going to start somewhere. Shador
And
Sanders will probably start somewhere.
yeah, and to that point, you can take in the big board without a sure stack. Like you could take Sam Darnold here, even though he might not be with the Vikings. Like
Yeah,
you took Baker just at pure value last year in your big board. You had a lot of value. And with Baker, you took him, even though, the early, God hadn't gotten Godwin and Evans, right? And then I don't
hmm
think you were able to backstack him.
yeah,
Who cares? Like he was your hero. He was your
mhm.
absolute, best ball playoff hero and certainly week 17 hero. So, yes, of course, when we know all the information, of course, you're actively trying to set up stacks. But if you get like a falling value, and again, when we don't have certainty at quarterback, I think it's fine to grab ones that you feel like are a good price point. So we obviously let's look at our queue before we're coming up at 96, 97. We have 133, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Tet McMillan, I'm not going to pronounce that, Jordan Addison, and Calvin Ridley. Okay, so coming up here, Steve, at the top of the board, we have J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Love, David Njoku, Ramondre, Jonnu. He was my hero last year. Trey Harris, I believe you talked to. Was he the one that was raw?
Yeah.
Okay, he
No,
was the
no,
raw.
I like Harris.
No, Harris was the one you liked. Okay, see, I'm
Yeah,
getting them mixed up. What do you think about Golden? I know that was another
I
one
like
we've mentioned.
Golden. I
Okay.
think he's a good safe pick.
Okay, we got to make two picks here. 133. Don't have a tight end yet. It's these middle. Though I know you like. Where does
Warren just went.
who?
Warren went.
Oh, Tyler Warren. Yeah, I knew you love Tyler Warren.
Where's Bateman going?
Later, let me 129.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do Janu here? I don't mind Janu here.
Yeah, then let me just okay, I'll go ahead and take Jonu. And then what do you want
Pick
to
a receiver.
so Trey Harris, Michael Pittman, Diggs, Pearsall, Mims, Bond. I know you love Bond too.
Yeah.
20 seconds. Hope
I
and hope
would go
Bateman comes
probably
back.
Harris or Mims.
I will let you decide.
Uh,
The fourth place here.
let's go. Let's go Harris.
Okay. And give me the story on Harris again, because I know you talked about him earlier, but I
Old Miss receiver, good size,
okay.
speed. Had a monster start to the year. Unfortunately, injuries caught up with him late, but should be fine. Um,
Okay, so
his route.
he was the mid round receiver. That's when I was putting
Yeah,
the names in the wheel. He was the mid round receiver
yeah,
you really liked, right? Okay, well
yeah. I
there you go.
think I think he's got big upside. He's probably gonna need a good landing spot, but um, yeah, I don't mind taking a shot on him. And like Jamie was saying, Bond, Golden, these guys are really strong.
Yeah,
This area.
I know my first one I got Bond. I know your first one you shared you on Twitter. You got Bond. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about Bond.
Bond was Texas last year, Alabama transfer, speed guy. Uh, you know, yeah, kind of banged up this year. Didn't get a full year with Texas. Unfortunately, both the receivers are a little banged up, but I think he was the guy who caught the touchdown at the end to beat Auburn 2 years ago at Alabama. The last second play by Jalen Milrow. He's
Mm.
just a fun guy to watch. Little, yeah, he's not like Xavier Worthy size, but he's smaller, fast, um, good, really good hands. I'm a fan of both of these guys. Both I believe are playing the Senior Bowl or East West circuits, so I'll
Okay.
be interested to see how they look. Um,
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about that while we're waiting to come back up? Senior Bowl started today, right?
yeah,
Senior Bowl
yeah,
week
the East
started
West
today.
like yesterday. So yeah, these two games will be this week. Before we get to the Super Bowl week next week. So
Hmm.
yeah, be looking at all the reports and videos I can find on these guys.
Yeah.
And
Who are the prospects you're most excited to see kind of reports on at any position?
um, well, definitely quarterbacks are interesting, but probably the running backs, just because it's such a deep running back class. A
Hmm.
lot are going to these, excuse me, these All Star games, uh, and I think it will help separate some of them. Yeah, I think.
What are the main running backs at the Senior Bowl this week? That we talked about so many of them throughout the
Uh,
show, but what are the running backs, the Senior
all
Bowl
right,
running backs?
let me look it up real quick.
Okay, as you're doing that, yeah, we went Jonnu, Trey Harris, a rookie at the 8-9 turn. Seems to that took a Pearsall like that, and that's was his hero in his big board. Again, we talked about how he edged Steve out at third place big board. Finish and KQC Ramondre Stevenson. They say they run the ball more in New England. So I like that. And then Michael Pittman Jr., Marvin Mims, who we were considering, Dobbins, Goff, Stephon Diggs coming off the injury, Njoku, Isaiah Bond, who we were just talking about, Baker, who I love in this range. I mean, you're getting Baker Mayfield, who has been a playoff hero the last 2 years. Was what QB4 or something like that this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, he may lost Godwin, might not be getting Godwin back, but we saw how McMillan filled in and how, obviously Bucky Irving, that offense was cooking. Yes, he lost his offensive coordinator. Have we gotten an update on the offensive coordinator for the Bucs yet?
I don't believe so, but I have not
Yeah, I
really.
know there's a lot of that news. I saw like something on the Pat McAfee Twitter interviewing Adam Schefter, and I believe the Lions. I can't remember who they hired, but this is going to be this week and next week. We're going to hear these landing now that the coaches have landed. Of course, we're still waiting on the Saints, but now the coaches are landing. We are now going to get these final landing spots for offensive defensive coordinators. What we care about especially is offensive coordinator, and it'll be interesting to see what the Bucs do at offensive coordinator, because I still love Mike Evans where he's going, even though he's another year older. I mean, he's Mr. 1,000 yards a season. Obviously Love Baker going and you getting him in the 9th round. Love that. Love McMillan. Don't mind Kate Auden. Love Bucky Irving. So love that offense. Hopefully they get an offensive coordinator that we, will confidently can keep drafting the Bucks. And any running backs that you pulled up?
Yeah. So there's some guys who are going to potentially be late guys, but some guys that talked about. Ollie Gordon's there. Devin
Nice.
Neal, big fan from Kansas there. RJ Harvey, the guy I mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Is a late round guy. Drake Hunter from Auburn's there. He's going to be interesting. Then Cam Scatabo from Arizona State is definitely probably the headliner there.
Oh, and Scatabo is one of your favorite.
But it's strong throughout. I mean, Quinn Allen, Brashard Smith, Tootin from Virginia Tech, Woody Marks from USC, both Michigan guys, Mullins and Edwards. So really, really good group overall. Receivers really strong also. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch and follow these guys.
Yeah. So as we do these shows, again, we're going to be doing a rookie series starting later this week. Look for that. And we'll be sure to mention thoughts on the Senior Bowl. Okay. We're coming up again here at 120, 121, 1341 built out here, Steve. Any thoughts seeing the top of the board? You got Kyler Murray, Blake Corum, Rico Dow, Leggett, Keenan Allen, Swift, Drake May. I don't mind, honestly, that just for upside. Xavier, who you spoke about, Esposito. Nothing else is massively standing out to me, but we need to, and we're on the clock. So what do you think about May and then we get one late, and then obviously maybe another receiver?
So did Bateman go?
Yes, Bateman went. Yeah, okay. Bateman went.
Drake May.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say 8 seconds. I'll give it to, so we have time to, 29 seconds. Where is Scatabo at? He got drafted. Okay. Oh yeah. So Bateman went, Scatabo went. I mean, this.
No, I would probably take, go up Restrepo or Dubs from your Dubs.
Yeah, I mean, you just talked about Restrepo earlier that you liked him a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this show's streaming. I couldn't focus. Then I was like, "Wait, what did you say?" So why don't you reiterate what you said about Restrepo? Now we drafted him.
Probably a slot only guy, but very mature, good route runner. Had a massive year with Cam Ward. Yeah, I think he's ready to play. Reminds me a little of Jaden Reed from a couple years ago. I think he can make an impact day one.
Okay. Jamie asked, where is Tet McMillan going? We got him in the 4th. So we got him. Definitely have a few rookie receivers here, but that's okay. I wish we could have gotten Cam Scatabo because Steve and I have talked about him a lot. Where did Scatabo go, Steve? Let's see. So Bateman, as we look at the board here, Scatabo went literally right before us, 2 picks before us, because I know we probably would have considered him there, even though we already had 3 running backs. And then Bateman went 113, which I know we would have considered with Lamar, and we liked Bateman. Bateman was a solid pick last year, and still going in this range, we definitely would have considered Bateman. So both those guys went there. Sorry, I'll leave this up and go back to the questions. Question for Steve. You mentioned Woody Marks. That's his top running back sleeper. Where do you see him going in rookie drafts?
Yeah, for me, I think Marks needs a good landing spot. I'm not as thrilled with him overall. There's definitely a lot of upside there. He had a really strong year for USC. But where his ADP is, I would like him to go a little later. I just think there's other guys. He's actually kind of near this range. And coming up, and I just feel there's, just some running backs I feel a little bit better with. There.
Okay. And then Mike Robb says, do you think Scatabo will go a few rounds earlier than he really should go, just based off the bowl game? I mean, I know you're a big Scatabo fan. You talked about him earlier, but what specifically to that question?
Well, yeah, I mean, he had, he just going back to the Big 12 game, I mean, he absolutely just dominated Iowa State. He essentially won the game for Arizona State almost on his own. And yeah, he looked good in the bowl as well. I think he's going to look good at the Senior Bowl. So yeah, he's going to get a lot of hype. His testing may knock him because I don't think he's going to blow people away with his speed, but I think enough's there. And another thing he does offer, I think he offers a great floor for like best ball because he should be a touchdown hunter no matter where he lands, and he's got receiving upside, so he could step in as a touchdown / third down back for a lot of teams at the worst. So I actually think he's got a great floor for best ball drives.
Okay, I like that. And yeah, you've gotten me sold on Scadaboo already, especially for where he's going. ASP Tuna, always good to see you. He says, thanks, guys. See you in the lobbies. Absolutely. Always good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us in chat. And Jamie says he's in rookie mock mine strategy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mark's a long time upside. I just don't know. Depends on the landing spot if he's going to be able to help you much as a rookie. For me, when I do like dynasty drafts, I want guys who I think are going to have a good role as a rookie. But
this is interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mark's impressive back long term.
Gotcha. Okay. This is interesting. In our FanSpeak group chat, I had mentioned I'll be interested to see where Stroud and Young go. If Stroud's going ahead of Young, I'd probably be interested in waiting on Young, just the way he ended the season. Dave Canales just seems like an absolute quarterback whisperer. Look who's all going around each other. I mean, Kyler has fallen, Tua has fallen, or right around the same where he went last year. Trevor Lawrence has fallen, I guess around the same or has fallen, but Stroud has fallen and Bryce Young's moved up, and they're literally got drafted back to back. So that's interesting. Stroud had definitely a little bit of regression. Offensive line situation's rough. They fired their offensive coordinator. Obviously, pieces we need to see what happens with offensive coordinator. Do they address the offensive line? But I was just super impressed with the way Bryce Young ended the season. If you're getting this situation, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, who do you take with the current situation?
Yeah. I still think Stroud probably has more upside. He just had a really raw deal with the O-line injuries, the offensive skill guys injured.
Okay, we're back on the clock. I know we're maybe dodging Savion Williams. He was one of the ones that you mentioned might be a little raw. Hopkins, Jalen Whirls, Amari Cooper, Quentin Johnson, Jalen Coker, Jaden Higgins. I know you liked him, but I mean, this is not a lot to love here. And then running back Ford, Benson, Marks, Neal. 8 seconds, just say a name.
Go Ford. Go Ford. I think at the very least he retains the secondary role in Cleveland.
Okay. I mean, that kind of goes against what we said. But I guess we'll talk about it later. Do you want to go a second tight end, a receiver? I don't love the receivers here unless you like Royals.
I'm not a fan of the receivers here. Go Loveland. He should be a late first rounder, early second. Should start. And, Michigan guy had been really good these last 2 years in Michigan. And not the greatest passing environment. So that's why his numbers aren't as strong as, say, Tyler Warren's or Harold Fannin Jr.
Right. Which you definitely like Warren a lot. I know you're very
and here's the thing: is a late first round type guy. He could go to one of these playoff type teams.
Yeah. So you think Loveland could be a late first round guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, getting him there. I mean, the fourth thing I was going to say, it kind of felt like it was against what we said, where we're dodging like the second guys necessarily because we don't know how it's all going to shake out with these rookies coming in. But I didn't love, honestly, most of the board basically.
Yeah.
So
the reason I said Ford is, Chubb. I just don't think he's back, and I'm sure Cleveland will bring in a running back. Ford should probably at least be that secondary back, and maybe he retains a starting role. So it's not perfect, but because we went so strong with the first three, we can take a risk. There's an upside potential that he's ends up the 60% back in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And even if the 40% back, this is probably where he should go.
Yeah, I mean, he's our fourth running back. It's not like, so, and we obviously anchored with Barkley, Jacobs, Connor, and then he's our fourth running back. So just to reiterate where we're at right now through 13 rounds, 2, 4, 5, 2, Lamar Jackson, Drake May, a lot of running upside there, obviously. Barkley, Jacobs, like the double anchor running that back, James Conner, Jerome Ford, and then a lot of pretty heavy with three rookies here, but over 5 receivers: Tech McMillan, Jordan Addison, Calvin Ridley, Trey Harris, Xavier Restrepo. Thank you. And then Jonathan Smith, Colson, Loveland. So we've already hit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 rookies in this one so far. So, ironically didn't get any of the running back rookies that you talked about, just didn't fall right, essentially. But yeah, 2, 4, 5, 2. So kind of balance there to finish out. We're likely going to usually build like a 3, 6, 8, 3. Again, because we don't know bye weeks, we don't know landing spots. So it kind of protects you there to have. I believe your fourth place team was a 3, 6, 8, 3, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, coming around at the 14, 15 spot, is there anything, because there are certain positions that dry up earlier. I do think you get a little more lean, you could find a little more flyers on receivers, but I mean, we do only have 5 right now and need 3 more. Actually there's some late tight ends I don't mind. So, quarterback certainty has already kind of dried up. I mean, people have already taken, Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson. So what stands out to you at this 14th, 15th? It might be like a positional target. I know we want to look at the board, but what positions do you think might be smart to target?
Yeah, I'd probably look at receiver and maybe our last quarterback.
Okay. So we are still 8 picks away. Just there is as you can see the board, a lot of orange and purple at the top of the board. So, that's fine. So you have Sam Darnold, 20 picks past ADP, and we do have, again, we have absolutely no idea. I think earlier I had asked you, what percent chance do you think Darnold is the Vikings quarterback? You said 20-25%, based on them like tagging him or whatever. But 20, he's still going to start somewhere. So we could always draft him. If he does stay, we got Addison. If he doesn't stay, who cares? We have a great quarterback 3. So who fell 20 some picks past ADP. So we'll queue him up. Looking at receivers, Royals, Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen, Wicks, and Alec Pierce, who ended up being one of the top Colts receivers last year. What stands out to you there? I'd say let's not do another rookie if possible, just because we have 3 rookie receivers already. And this is where the balance comes in, Okay. So Darnold just went. Any of these receivers, I know Adam Thielen has been Mr. Reliable. He's old, but he's been Mr. Reliable. Wicks, Pierce, I think that it can be considerations.
Cooper should, it is a rough year, but he got traded, got injured. Wherever he ends up next year, could be fine. You're getting a guy who was a 4th, 5th rounder, and 2 years ago.
If we didn't go quarterback, I know you mentioned Ollie Gordon. We didn't take a rookie running back yet. We are on the clock. And then tight end,
I would, let's go Thielen and then.
Okay. I'll give it a little more time to go down so then we can talk through here. Do you like Ollie Gordon? Do you like, you got Cade Otton? I know we don't have Baker, but I know you mentioned Harold Bannon.
What other running backs?
Okay, I'm going to let it pick Thielen. And then running backs, 28 seconds, Algier, Garendo, Roschon, Braylon Allen, Ollie Gordon, then Giddens.
I like Giddens more than Gordon, but we could wait on that.
Okay, and then quarterback, I think we should probably just wait on the last one unless you so quick, because you're not super slow. Okay, quick.
I think Pierce or Cooper.
Okay, I like Pierce.
Yeah.
I remember the showdown where I almost won like $300,000. I was like, it was like 0.2 off. I won like a few hundred. It was like, it's a showdown can like really break your heart in DFS. And I did Alec Pierce captain. Was it his rookie year, Steve? And like all Dallas players. It was like a Colts Cowboys. And I did like Alex Pierce captain because he was cheap. It was when Matt Ryan was still the Colts quarterback, and all Cowboys, including the Cowboys defense, because against Matt Ryan that year, that was a good target. And it was so close to having a massive win. Yeah. But I mean, he had an awesome season for being undrafted in best ball this year.
Exactly. And we'll see Donnie Mitchell's development. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Pittman's on the way out. I know he kind of ended the year strong, but their team with 4 receivers, and honestly, if Anthony Richardson's quarterback, I don't know if they can support 2. But Pierce is a guy who, whether he's traded, whether he's back with the Colts, he was the guy who was the most consistent, him and down. So, um, yeah, let's not forget he was a second round pick just a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Saints to Death made a great point. The team that won the big board this year had 5 rookie receivers, 3 rookie running backs, a rookie quarterback, and a rookie tight end. That's an awesome point. Thank you for mentioning that. And you have to let us know. I mean, I know we saw your lineup because Steve was definitely watching and competing with it, but how many rookies you had? That's very interesting because I mean, I think it can range. There's no, like anything in best ball, and you and I have talked about a lot of this, and we'll talk about a lot. Obviously, all spring and summer. There are no hard or fast rules to big board best ball, classic contest best ball. I think there's things you probably shouldn't do, but there's no like absolute gospel things that you can or can't do. And so to our point, like, you probably want some rookies, maybe you don't overload on rookies, but you can. I mean, the guy that won had 5, 8, 10, half of his draft was rookies. So, there are no hard and fast rules, and that's what makes best ball so amazing. So I love that shout out. Okay. So, let's see in chat here. Jamie said he has Loveland as his top 12 dynasty tight ends, and Warren obviously is his tight end 5. How do you pronounce the guy that we talked about? I cannot pronounce this, Steve.
I am not sure.
Iomana.
Iomanner. That's how I pronounce it, but I don't know if that's right.
But he's one of the ones that you're kind of staying away from, correct?
Yeah. He just.
I have to keep like reiterating this for
long-term upside, but
raw to
as
start.
a rookie. Yeah.
And then there's some Super Bowl talk, which we haven't unstacked Lamar, but I'm not going to force anything.
Likely Bateman went high. I think King QC might have gotten both of them, which is fine. I mean, it's top tier offense.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we always say. We don't get mad when other people snipe because we're always trying to stack top offenses, whether we have the quarterback or not. I know some people would probably ask why we didn't go JJ McCarthy. We don't know if they're going to redshirt him this year. So until there's a little more clarity on that, we do know with Darnold that he's going to start somewhere this year. Yeah. So there's a still slim chance it's with the Vikings. But we don't know. We don't know how his recovery is going. If it's not going well, that probably will be the determining factor for what the Vikings do with Darnold. But because we don't know, there is still a % chance that he could be redshirted this year. So, or I guess whatever you'd call that again, and have a second year to kind of learn and grow and heal totally. So that's why I didn't force like a JJ McCarthy since we had Jordan Addison situation. So, okay, we are coming up again here in the 16th, 17th round. So again, we have a 2, 4, 7, 2. Definitely need some running backs here because we probably want to end 3, 6, 8, 3. And as we know, quarterbacks dry up. I don't know if he's going to be there. Hunter Henry, is he still under contract?
I believe so.
I don't know if you're able to find that quickly. And then receivers and Pop Douglas. I mean, I think they've got to address the receiver situation there. But with with May, I queued up. I mean, they're going to get weapons for him. But I did queue up these two because they do correlate. And we need a third tight end. So I'll throw that out there. Anybody else at the top of the board that you like?
Top, what's quarterback looking like?
Oh yeah, because it's basically down to the Bear. Okay, so Henry went to Saints to Death. Good pick.
I don't think we need to take the Mario Douglas.
Okay, well, who do you like here? Because of 19 seconds.
I think Derek Carr is going to start somewhere.
Do you like him or Cousins more? I mean, I think Cousins is going to start somewhere too.
Yeah, I think Carr's probably a little safer to start. So
okay, all right. So you feel very confident Derek Carr is going to start somewhere this year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we will take that as our third quarterback and then we'll talk about this after. So, okay, so we're done at quarterback.
Running back.
Javonte, we could do Gibson. Correlates, obviously. Yep. Let's do that. It's a solid fifth, it's a secure fifth. Is there not really any more rookies really here? I know you liked Justice Hill.
I mean, there's some guys that are undrafted that I can talk about like RJ Harvey,
Oh yeah. Oh well,
Jordan
let's put him
James.
in. Who was the other one? Jordan
Jordan
James.
James from Oregon.
Okay. Um. All right. So yeah, I queued up a couple running backs. Still left Demario Douglas if he fell back. Again, I do think that's the thing with overforcing stacking in big board. I don't know is overly necessary because again, some of the guys might be replaced.
Yeah.
Number one, number two. Again, there's not necessarily always certainty, and yeah, just don't have to force it. So certainly with
Well, I mean,
Lamar,
we
I
could.
wouldn't mind if we could get Justice Hill to fall back to us. I would love that. But I like that we queued up some of the running backs that you mentioned. So we have a 3-5-7-2, 2 picks to go. We need one running back, one tight end, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
with these all these rookie receivers we've taken, maybe we do get a Drake May stack because they could be taking Ted McMillan.
That's true. That's very true. I just queued up a bunch of tight ends just to kind of keep an eye on it. And then we can. Oh wait, no, we have. Sorry, so 3-5-7-2. So we have 3 picks left. Right? Yes. Yeah. So 18, 19, 20. So let me bring up the board. We took Derek Carr for just a third quarterback and Antonio Gibson. 2 of our current guys are unstacked, but like you said, you never know. We drafted a bunch of rookie receivers. They could end up stacked. Number one, number two, they're both rushing quarterbacks. So there's that.
Yeah, we don't know where Carr is going to end up.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think is the most likely? Like Saints to Death said, sorry, Henry was never getting to you. I like it. Okay, go ahead, Steve. What were you going to say?
Yeah, no, with Carr, it's, I don't know. I've heard people point to, I don't think he's going back to the Raiders, though that would be interesting. Maybe the Giants, maybe a team like the Browns, because he might not be as expensive.
Yeah, I feel like Cousins or Carr is a good candidate for the Browns.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's tough. Look, Carr was good to start the year, and then he got injured, and then came back a little bit, and then all his receivers were injured. So Saints just said, and I'm assuming Saints to Death is a Saints fan. I mean, talk about an offense that sustained injuries last year. Just absolutely brutal.
Oh God, they started the year so hot. Those first 2 games with that coordinator and everything.
They lose their receivers, they lose their tight ends, they lose a multiple offensive linemen. Even Kamara missed the last couple of games. He was so great throughout the year.
Yeah.
Just they could not stay healthy at all.
Major run in tight ends, which makes sense in the 17th round. Zach Ertz, who in kind of the closeout interviews said he does want to come back. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully Washington brings him back. Chikakonkwo, Mike Gesicki, Jatavion Sanders, who was one of our favorites last year, didn't end up panning out really for us, but we were taking him in the 18th round. I would be totally willing to take him in the 17th, 18th round of these drafts as well. Second year, for him in that Carolina offense, who looked much better at the end of the season. Okay, so 18, 19. Let me bring over because we have. Okay, so I would say like if Justice Hill's there, we take him. We got the correlation. We like Justice Hill, obviously. I mean, he's still under contract with the Ravens, right?
I believe so. I believe he'd signed an extension.
I thought so too. Okay, and then we queued up some other running backs that you liked. Tight end still queued up. Nothing special. Noah Gray if Kelsey leaves. Juwan Johnson, Luke Lachey, who I didn't realize was former Redskin Jim Lachey's son, and an Iowa tight end, which is like a tight end factory. But you said Luke Lachey was injured this year, Steve?
Yeah, kind of banged up, and just since Sam Laporta left, has not had a chance to fully showcase himself.
I mean, we do have obviously kind of anchored by Jonnu, have another rookie in Loveland. So I don't know what you think. Like if a Juwan Johnson was there, I'd probably just go that. But yeah. So, okay, those are the tight ends. Receiver, Troy Franklin, don't mind him. Then you get into this whatever range. I mean, and Westbrook Akine, who went on like a touchdown streak midseason, Noah Brown, Gabe Davis, Josh Palmer, Tolbert is one that I would definitely like. Tolbert. Watson would be like an end of the season hope. Calvin Austin, Ray McLeod. I mean, this is just got Diami Brown, who, did something, but I got to imagine they're bringing weapons in to build that Washington offense. Marcus Robinson, I believe he's a free agent. So really big question marks there. So yeah, a lot of question marks. So do you want to do Justice Hill if he's there and a tight end, or would you rather do Justice Hill, a Jalen Tolbert, and just take a whatever tight end at the end?
I would take Hill and Tolbert here.
I mean, is there going to be anybody of value? I mean, I guess it's just, you mentioned some of, you could talk about some of these total flyer tight ends, but I mean, we're kind of anchoring with Jonnu. But okay, so go Justice Hill.
Had Hill been taken, I would have waited at running back, but I do think Hill.
Because to point out again, you talked about RJ Harvey. So now we got 6 running backs. We can get rid of these. And then Jalen Tolbert, we will take as our 8th receiver. And I like that, especially to get, not wait till the last round of receiver, because we did wait till 3rd or 4th round to draft a receiver. So our receiver room, it's a more quantity situation. The rookie Tet McMillan, Jordan Addison, Calvin Ridley, Trey Harris, Restrepo, Thielen, and then some vets with Thielen, Pierce, and Tolbert.
And Tolbert, and we can talk about this a little bit more at the end, but I mean, 600 yards, 7 touchdowns in a year where Dak missed half the year. The offense just wasn't clicking. I know people like Turpin, but Tolbert is going to be out there every play type guy, and especially if they move on from Brandon Cooks to save some money. So,
all right, let's
deal with this.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's going so late. Because what year is this for Tolbert? 3rd?
This is his 3rd year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I read somebody from Fantasy Points. I wish I could. I would say Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points talked about like with Cowboys going so late this year. Especially obviously Dak and
his 4th year, but either way,
yeah. But with Cowboys going so late this year, it could be like a buy low spot. If people were like grossed out by the Schottenheimer hire, but it's like it could work, and if it does work, you're getting them so late. So I don't mind that take at all, and I love getting him as the 8th. So let's. I know we're still got a ways to go, but why don't you talk about some of these tight ends? Unless there's anyone you queue up in between. You have Theo Johnson, Noah Fant, Dawson Knox, Tyler Conklin, Luke Musgrave, who just did. I did not realize I drafted way too much of him last year because I thought he was going to be like tight end 1. Boy, was I wrong. Luke Lachey what's his name? Is his first name Luke?
Luke Lachey,
yeah. Luke Lachey just went. Any other ones you want me to queue up, and then we can talk about some of these rookies down here.
I mean, Theo Johnson probably has a good chance to be the starter for New York. Played a little down the stretch, then got banged up. But 2 rookies that I'll point to.
Any of these guys in between the rookies or no?
We just don't know what their roles are going to be. All could be number 2 tight ends. Conklin's a free agent, so if he's not back with the Jets, he might sign on somewhere as a number 2 tight end. But 2 interesting guys, Gadsden and Gunnar Helm.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Gadsden is not a tight end, but he's going to be listed as a tight end. He's a good receiver, though. So if a team drafts him as kind of like a bigger slot or something like that receiver, you're getting massive value because he's listed as a tight end. You're getting him in the 20th round here.
Yeah.
Gunnar Helm, Jatavian Sanders was a Texas tight end prior, so didn't really have a role till this past year, but had like 700 yards, really good, solid all-around tight end. I think guess goes in the draft 3rd, 4th round, but I think he can play, and I think he's going to have a role pretty early on an NFL team. He's kind of overlooked because of the top end tight ends this year, like Tyler Warren and Loveland and Harold Fannin. But all around tight end, he's going to be on the field. Probably needs a good landing spot, obviously, but would not shock me to see if he ends up, producing.
I'm intrigued by, first of all, I always got to say hi to our guy Spread. He'll be doing best ball shows in here or all off season as well, spring, summer. He crushed it on weekly winners this year. He did some weekly winners shows. I'm sure he'll run that back. So always appreciate Spread's live drafts. So check out Spread shows coming to you soon. Always good to see you, Spread. So Gadsden, this really intrigues me. What round do you think he'll likely go?
That's a tough thing because if an NFL team evaluates him as tight end, he shouldn't. He's not going to play. He cannot block.
Okay.
But we're not even talking like an Evan Ingram type. We're talking Syracuse just listed him as a tight end and just threw him the ball a ton. I think over half of his, like a third of his routes were split out wide this year.
Okay.
He's just not a tight end. But if he's going to be listed as a tight end, it could be a slight little cheat code.
Okay. So wait, what round do you think? Is that just way up in the air? Like, is it going to be like?
I think it's way up in the air.
Okay. Like it could still potentially be day 2, like a second, third, or is it most likely
probably more fourth, fifth, but it's also how a team evaluates him. If they have a good role for him, he could play as a rookie. I mean, he's been in Syracuse the last couple of years, been very productive. But
I was gonna say, what kind of numbers did he put up last year?
I'd have to look. I think he missed the first game or two, or I feel like he missed a couple games, but highly productive with Ohio State's former quarterback, whose name's escaping me right now.
You have cold brain. Yeah.
But Kyle McCord. And I think he's a very talented pass catcher, and that's what we care about for fantasy purposes.
Exactly. I was gonna say, is there a player he reminds you closest to in the NFL now that kind of transferred to a wide receiver, or was listed as a tight end?
You typically don't see that transfer. You see some receivers come tight ends, like Darren Waller. One of the more notable ones. So, he doesn't have Waller's size, but and that's partly why the transition to tight end is more laughable. Because I don't even know if he'll be 6'2", but he's like 6'1", 220, 215. Just a good ball catcher.
Okay. So do you want, it's down to Theo Johnson.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think we're strong enough at tight end that we can take a flyer on any of them. I think they're all flyers. I think Gadsden.
Okay, Saints to Death took Theo Johnson. So it's either Gadsden or Gunnar Helm. I'll let you choose.
Let's go Gadsden.
Yeah, I think it's intriguing. It's intriguing. Okay, let's do a quick look at our 3 teams, and then we can get out of here. And actually, I should probably refresh it and then find it, so I can pull up the whole board. Completed. Okay. Okay, so our team 3683, our favorite type of build, again, with all the unknowns, especially unknowns right now with even like coaching staff and free agency stuff, but massive unknowns, obviously, on landing spots for some of these rookies. So 3683, Lamar Jackson, Drake May, Derek Carr, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Jerome Ford, Antonio Gibson, Justice Hill. We actually stacked 2 of our running backs with quarterbacks, and both are pass catching guys. Ted McMillan, Jordan Addison, Calvin Ridley, Trey Harris, Restrepo, Adam Thielen, Alec Pierce, Jalen Tolbert, Jonnu Smith, Colston, Loveland, and Gadsden, who you just spent time talking about, tight end, but really could play the role of the receiver in the NFL. So let's see, rookie count 1, 2, definitely got, I think, 3 receivers, 3, 4, 5. And then actually running back's your favorite rookie position.
We didn't get any rookies.
Get any rookie running backs, which is funny, but it's just the way it falls. If Scatabo would have fallen to us, we definitely would have taken him. We had taken the double anchor with, Barkley and Jacobs. So we weren't getting some of those guys like, that some of the guys in chat got, which we'll look at in a minute, that I know you liked as well. So are you happy with the team overall? Any thoughts?
I am. And part of the other reason why, because I would have loved taking a flyer to rookie running back in those last couple rounds, But we also did as like backstacks for like get May with Gibson and
Yeah.
Hill with Lamar.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yes.
So if we
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
have those stacks, probably would not have been as keen on them. Probably one of those spots would have gone to a running back, a rookie.
Right. And sometimes you can do, the four tight end build, like going four late. He said, I want, Saints to Death said, was getting Theo Johnson there, four tight ends with possible stack with Cam Ward. And you could do that, like trying to project, okay, this rookie quarterback may go here, this, fits. So I like that. Mike, Rob, great show. A flu game for the record books. That's hysterical. Yeah, Steve powered through, feeling sick, powered through, but we had fun because we covered, kind of having fun celebrating the 2024 end of the season, which was super fun. Again, our parents both made best ball finals. Steve and I both made best ball finals. Steve had 16 best ball final appearances. It was fourth in the big board and won 50K in that. And yeah, we had really great advance rates. And yeah, it was just a super fun best ball season all around with our FanSpeak crew and us. And yeah, a fun season. We can't wait to run it back. We talked about 2025. We got a lot of fun things coming both here on the channel, on fanspeak.com, FanSpeak subscription. And then we talked a lot of rookie talk. So this has been a lot of fun. So yes, thank you for the Michael Jordan flu game, Steve. You powered through. Let's take a look at the other two guys in chat. We appreciated them jumping in the draft with us. Saints to Death did 3-6-7-4. I like that type of build too. Joe Burrow, Cam Ward, or Sanders. So got Burrow and then anchored, and then the two rookies for upside. I like that. And then I know Hampton and Trayvon Henderson were two running backs you really like. So he got Marion Hampton, Trayvon Henderson, Charbonnet, Swift, Kendre Miller, Jordan James, who you talked about late. Jamar Chase is obviously stacked with Joe Burrow, Garrett Wilson, JSN, Mbuka, Ricky Pearsall, who was on, I'm almost positive was on his winning third place big board team. So I love that. Love staying loyal to the guys that helped win you lots of money. Romeo Dubs, Wandell Robinson. Again, he's kind of projecting a Giants draft one of these rookies, obviously. And then Evan Ingram, Cade Otton, Hunter Henry, Theo Johnson. Yeah, I like those like 4 late round tight end situations. Yeah. Too. So yeah, I like this build a lot. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be making another run for the top here. I like it. King of QC, we always love doing drafts with him. 2693, anchored by Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Bucky Irving, Isaiah Pacheco, Ramondre Stevenson. He's the one who got Cam Scatterbo. Good for you. I love it. Jonathan Brooks. When are we expecting Jonathan Brooks to be back? Probably
probably late.
Well, he's
he could be a playoff round guy.
Yeah, like a playoff guy.
Taking 6 running backs for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And then Javonte Williams, Puka, AJ Brown, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Travis Hunter. Oh, you got Travis Hunter too. That's super fun.
Yeah, I noticed that during the draft. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Adonai Mitchell, Devon Bailey, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Isaiah Likely, Pat Freiermuth, Taysom Hill. I like this. The only thing I'd say is I'd probably go 3 quarterbacks just because, I mean, I think Stafford's going to play, but but the 3 quarterbacks, personal thing that I like when we have uncertainty to draft 3 quarterbacks in big board, especially. I honestly, like we said, like them in the 18 round, but no, I mean, I like your draft a lot. You hit on a lot of players that I like. I still think you're anchored by 3 really strong running backs. One of the favorite rookies there in Cam Scatterbo, and yeah, really fun. Upside receiver room, still hitting on some rookies there with Golden and Hunter. And then, yeah, kind of 3 later tight ends, but, like where you got with Likely, Freiermuth, Taysom Hill. So, no, I like this draft a lot. Any thoughts, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, overall, I agree. Maybe go the 3 quarterback route, but, honestly, yeah, I don't know if you need 9 receivers when your receivers are so strong at the top. But no, I mean, look, it could end up being you're getting another Nick Westbrook-Akine 9 touchdown year. And that's the thing. That's just a guy like that. And, we took some of those guys kind of late. Right now, they're kind of undervalued, some of these veterans.
Yeah.
If the Titans, they're going to have a new quarterback. Westbrook-Akine might be the number 2 receiver on the team this year. They might not invest a lot into the position.
Right.
So, similar to our take with Tolbert, it's like,
right.
that if he ends up as a super late number 2 receiver, hey, that's a really solid pick. So
Yeah.
I like those types of picks. So a lot of balance for his receiver group. Same with the running backs, guys up top that they know, and then he took some flyers on like Jonathan Brooks and Javonte Williams, guys who injuries are the only thing that have held them back in the NFL so far.
Right. And he obviously anchored with Jalen Hurts, who obviously is one of the elite quarterbacks still. Obviously had 3 rushing touchdowns yesterday against our Washington team. So, woof. No, but yeah, I really like your team, Kings QC. We always love drafting with you. Love Saints to Death team. So hopefully 2 of the 3 FanSpeak drafters.
Well, all three can advance.
Oh, that's right. Yes. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. It's 3 of 12, 1 of 10, 1 of 10 to the finals. Hopefully all 3 of us move on. Good call, Steve. I love it. He said, DQ, again, make sure you DM me with your email. I'll get you that $100. Get in a bigger board or 10 big boards. And we appreciate you being in here. Congrats on winning that. And Saints to Death said he had a 4 tight end build for his 3rd place finish team, which again, Steve was watching you very, very closely. So that's awesome. Awesome to hear. Steve, this was so fun. We appreciate everybody being in the chat. We are back in the best ball streets. Best ball is back. I'm so sad NFL season is ending, but this is how I cope. We're back in the best ball streets. Any final thoughts for the people, Steve?
No. And good luck to everyone as well.
Yeah.
Like Since Death said, but it's, take shots, like we talked about, like some of these guys who get undervalued because their role, like I mentioned from the top, I like mixing it, get some certainty, get some upside rookies, and then get some guys who are undervalued, like Tolbert that we took, Nick Westbrook-Akeen. But Theo Johnson, like he's a last round tight end. He could very well be the Giants starting tight end, whoever the quarterback is. Who Saints Death to 2 rookies, so maybe either Cam or Shador. But even if it doesn't end up a stack, he could be the Giants starting tight end you got in the 20th round.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this was super fun to be back in the streets. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll have a more set schedule every single week, bringing you, 3 to 4 best ball shows, plenty of content coming on FanSpeak. Stay tuned for all that. We appreciate you. Be sure to tune into Andrew Justin tomorrow, and all of us talking 2024 best ball lessons learned on Thursday. Again, thank you so much for joining us. For Steve, I'm Meg, and we'll see you next time.